Okay, so it's broadcasting now. It seems like the stream crashed again. So, I am gonna just be restarting it. Okay, so let's just get the chat out. Pop out chat. Okay, and then we're just gonna quickly fix this chat. Okay, then we can pick the game. And now it should show. Okay. Let's just get Majuna of the Void. Yeah, I might need to lower my settings a bit. Because it's fine for single player, but it seems like there's some kind of like memory leak issue that's causing it to build up. So let's quickly just go in your graphics. I'm gonna lower the view distance. And maybe the global illumination. Confirm. Yeah, that's not that much worse looking. And this should be better for actually getting things to run. Okay. Now, it's a thing that, like, really does annoy me about, like, a lot of Unreal Engine games, though. Um, like, I know that Oblivion isn't a fully Unreal game, but I do feel like they ran into a lot of the same issues when it comes to actually optimizing the game. Because I think Oblivion does, sorry, but like Unreal does a really good job at making things
Why
like
won't you
actually
die?
like look very like graphically like um high fidelity, but like at the same time, since it just gives a lot of devs like all these fancy tools, since it just gives devs all these fancy tools, I feel like a lot of them don't learn things like optimization. Like, for example, one thing that like I know that a lot of Unreal devs do is they actually just drag in like their like a lot of these terrain assets are actually just gotten from like what is now called Fab. It used to be called something else, but I recent wait. Yeah, Megascans, yes. It used to be from Megascans, but then Megascans got discontinued um, in favor of Fab. Either way, that leads to like a bit of an issue where like a lot of the times due to Unreal 4 just not like having fully optimized not requiring you to have heavily optimized. Welcome back, Rue. I'm complaining about game devs not optimizing their games because I think that's causing the crashes. Either way, I think that as a result of that, I think that as a result of that, you have like this big situation where a lot of devs, due to Unreal just giving them the tools they need, they kind of like don't learn to optimize their games really well. And that leads to a few problems like, you know, Unreal Oblivion just not really running all that well and crashing really easily. Look at how mystical it looks there, hey? Very fancy. So you have a lot of people who like focus on like making the scene look really good, and wow, it does look good, but that leads to them also just not like optimizing the rocks. Like a lot of the time, like rocks, for example, just aren't optimized properly. And environmental assets just aren't optimized properly, and that leads to a lot of issues. For anyone curious, I am actually a game designer. I actually had a traineeship at Ubisoft, so I do have like a little bit of experience in like professional game dev. Towerstone, yay! Now we can unlock things. How cool is that? And like, it's one of those things where, you know, they heavily just rely on people just buying fancier and fancier computers because they don't want to be the game that looks like slightly worse than the others as well. So, you know, due to devs just not having a lot of time to get things optimized and having an engine that just deals with it, you know, that leads to a lot of these games just not being very well optimized, especially, I think, in engines that have, like, automatic LODs, and, like, that really just allow you to do this. Oh, Moon. Is there still, like... I'm actually kind of curious. This looks so nice. I love that I'm complaining about like studios' obsession with graphical fidelity at all costs, mixed with like them like having to rush games, and then I'm just like, oh, this game's so pretty. Honestly, though, I do think that, like, the Unreal Engine does look really nice if you're trying to do things that are a bit more realistic. Nah, I do not need that. I do not need that sorcery. I have my own sorcery. I am a mage. Okay. So I think we're gonna go for Shaden Hall now, because that's the closest. Then we're gonna go to Bruma. Hello, Imperial Legion Guard.
You have my ear, citizen.
One of the cool guys for prequel adventure, which I know Ryu's read it, but if anyone watches this in the future, do read prequel adventure. It's the best Oblivion fan content I've like ever read. It's a really fun. And also, it's very dodgy, which is part of what makes it so fun.
I'll hack you to pieces.
He's there.
Well, I'm just a little kitty cat. Don't hurt me. Never mind that I am also capable of burning you to death. And also blowing your face off. Like, people forget just like how like horrifying it is to get your face ripped off. Also another thing that chimps can do, funnily enough. Chimps can really mess you up, which is probably why we shouldn't be dealing a lot with them. Yes, this is in my memory because of Nope. Because the movie also has like a sequence where like a chimpanzee goes on a rampage in like a live audience like sitcom stage and just murks a bunch of people. Honestly, Jordan Peele,
Your money or your life.
Oh yeah, take it.
Take it. It's worthless to me anyway.
This is why you steal from that one highwayman. He just does it as like a tourist attraction. Like, he doesn't actually care that much over whether he gets your money in the end or not. This one, on the other hand, he really does want your money. He's willing to fight you to death for it. The really strange thing about Skyrim, like, a lot of the bandits do end up begging for their lives, but then, like, suddenly they just go, yeah, no, like, we were just faking that. So that, like, has always been odd to me, because, like, you know, the game basically is basically just built on the premise that you should commit war crimes against, like, your enemies. Which is an interesting thing for a game to say. Oh, hello, little ruins. Anything interesting in these ruins, or is it just ants or something? Just arrowroot. 6 gold and a pearl. Well, I guess I can at least get one of my favorite gems. So that's cool. I mean, gems in the Steven Universe sense, not in the real sense. Pearls are not gems. They're clam debris. But yeah, nah, like, it's something that, like, I kind of feel like, yeah, it's more realistic for enemies to beg for their lives, in a game, but simultaneously it just feels awful that, they're so suicidally overconfident that they'll always, like, fake a surrender. Oh! It's 2 buddies this time. Whoa.
Speak.
I will not speak to either of you. You have each other for that. Go have fun, guards. Woo. But yeah, like, I feel like it would be a way more interesting mechanic if, you know, some enemies did legitimately surrender, but, like, some faked their surrenders, and some just did fight you to the death, because that'll give them some, like, different personalities. Like, you can have it so that some bandits, when they're weak, they, like, beg, and then like you can like loot them by just tying them up or something. Well, some will like surrender, and then when you get up close, they like do like a finisher move against you because they ambushed you. Like it's a stealth attack, and then like some are just like, nah, this is Skyrim, fudder. It's like, we don't surrender here. What kind of milk drinkers do you think we are? But hey, Skyrim doesn't really feel as, like, warrior-y as, like, it did in Valor, though. To be fair, Cyrodiil doesn't feel as jungly as it did in Valor. Because in, like, Cyrodiil... Because in, like, Morrowind... like, okay, not Morrowind specifically. It's actually, like, from Redguard. But, like, at Morrowind, we still assumed it to be true. But in Redguard, it's actually very much implied that Cyrodiil is a jungle, and a lot of the books in, like, Morrowind as well kind of hint towards that, with, like, even, like, one of the books that come with Redguard, called Pocket Guide to the Empire, having a bit that says Cyrodiil is a jungle. So people were, like, actually, like, really expecting Cyrodiil to be, like, very jungly and tropical. And then the game came out, and it was just, Lord of the Rings, I guess? But way more colorful, because Oblivion used to be a lot more colorful. And I don't think it was a bad decision, necessarily, but I do think that it's one of those things where whenever, like, a game goes to a province, with, like, maybe the exception of Morrowind, the province just becomes more, like, becomes a bit more standard and a bit more normalized compared to what it was in Valor. Like, one thing I actually remember is when I was playing Oblivion, I read this book about vampires, and it was talking about the Valkyr, and how like, they had, like, horrifying powers, like the ability to swim through ice, and, like, ambush travelers. And, like, when Skyrim came out, I was like, yeah, when are the Valkyr gonna come and ambush me through the ice? That would be so lit. And then that never happened. And then, up until the DLC came out, there weren't even Valkyr. So that's something that actually, like, weirdly enough, immensely disappointed me about Skyrim when it came out. And it wasn't even something major. It was, like, kind of tiny change. Killed your own guy. Oh yeah, your stuff's worthless. And I feel like that's something that, like, kind of just really did, like, frustrate me a lot about, like, Skyrim when it first came out, was just things like that. Because when I first played Oblivion, it wasn't that, like, it wasn't that Oblivion didn't do a lot of the same things that Skyrim did. In fact, I think Oblivion did it a lot more than Skyrim did. But, like, I was, like, 8 when I played Oblivion the first time, and, like, I was playing it concurrently with Morrowind, so I never really picked up on all the stuff that was changed. But when, like, Skyrim came out, I had, like, decades to, like, actually really get into Elder Scrolls as a setting. And then, like, it got standardized, and as a result, like, it's really, like, just confused me. But hey, the Valkyr are a bit more generic in Skyrim, but at least they have the best companion, and, you get, like, a sweet vampire form. So, I guess that's, like, at least above the trade. Though I do think the vampire form is a bit less cool than I hoped it would be. Honestly, that's like the thing for me. Like Elder Scrolls games, I love them, but they're always like a bit of a hit or miss in like certain areas. Eh. Though age does make people more nostalgic about certain games, so that's something. Like, even Skyrim, even though I was a bit disappointed by like a lot of the stuff that they changed from the lore upon its initial release, I did grow to really like Skyrim, especially because I feel like as time went on, you know, like the expansion packs really did flesh it out. And like a lot of things were made like way fancier. Okay, so I think we're gonna do this quest and the Bruma quest because both of them are fairly easy and doesn't involve a lot of work. Shadenhall is such a pretty city. Like seriously, like I wish we had like prettier cities in Skyrim, because like yeah, like like 5 out of the 9 cities do look distinct in their own way, but I feel like it would have been really nice if like we had like just one city that was just like outright pretty, like Shadenhall is, because like yeah,
Hi
yeah,
there.
like Solitude is kind of pretty, but not as pretty as Shadenhall is. Like Morrowind doesn't have like very pretty cities either, but like at least a lot of them look kind of like interesting. Like you know, like the Crab City. For some reason, my mind isn't going to it. Or like the Vac, which feels like honestly like more like something you'd find in Dune than in like another fantasy series with like how monolithic it looks. Okay. Okay, so this city is interesting because this quest is actually where like you meet like an antagonist of a later quest.
Oh. Hello.
Ah, hello. Whoa, you have some brows on you, ma'am. Like you look like you're angry at.
Good morning.
You look so
I
angry.
can't believe the ridiculous
Okay.
new finds the guy.
Hey,
What is it,
Falcar.
associate? Don't tell me.
Yes, I am here for a recommendation.
Don't waste my time if you're not ready for this. Are you prepared to do what is necessary to gain a recommendation?
Yes.
Very well. We shall see how... There was a particular ring of burden I was testing some... If I didn't know better, you will retrieve this ring for me. Should you manage to do so, I shall consider sending a recommendation to the university. The well is locked, so you'll need the key. Dietzen should have a copy of it. Now get moving.
Sorry, very skipped
Good day.
his dialogue.
Ever
He
since
basically just said, oh yeah, now you have to find it. Wait, fines? What fines? Did someone notice that I stole one of the horses? Please don't notice that I stole one of the horses, please. I'm just a little gal. I don't know that stealing horses is immoral or illegal. To me, they're just there, so I steal them.
What is it?
Hello?
I'm Dietzen, magician. Mages Guild, that is.
Yes, Dietzen. A recommendation.
Don't tell me Falcar's given you the same task he gave Vidkun. Oh, dear, I'd say more, but... Well, Falcar is the ranking member here, and I don't feel comfortable talking about him. I'll tell you what. Find me when Falcar's not around, and then we'll talk. After we've spoken, you can have the key. Believe me, this is important.
Okay. I think I know what the fines are. There's a quest in Shadenhall
Goodbye.
where where like this guard captain is like he's like extorting people with like just random fines. So that's what was causing it, and that's why I was a bit confused. Okay. Falcar, are you still here? Okay, he's gone. Okay, let's talk to you.
It's my pleasure. We can talk, so long as Falcar is out of earshot. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he's trying to get you killed.
He is the
He
son.
gave poor Vidkun the same task, and we never saw him again. I'm reasonably sure there's a connection, but I can't prove it. Do be careful. I'd hate to lose another useful associate. Here's the key, and something extra. I don't know if it will be of use to you, but from what I've heard of Falcar's ring, it may come in handy. And if you find out anything about what happened to Vidkun, let me know, will you?
Okay, buoyancy.
Goodbye.
Okay. So buoyancy is for, I think it's for water breathing. Let's quickly check. Ah, okay, it does both. That's cool. Now, so what's interesting about this quest is Umbacano basically just built a ring that exists